The Legend of Chau and Trong Thuy. Chapter 1. The Kingdom of Oloc. Long ago, in a time of myth and legend, there existed a prosperous kingdom called Oloc, located in what is now northern Vietnam. The kingdom was ruled by a wise and benevolent king named An Young Vern. He was a king deeply loved by his people, known for his strength in battle and his wisdom in governance. Under his reign, the kingdom flourished, and the people lived in peace and harmony. To protect his kingdom from potential invaders, King An Young Vern commissioned the construction of a mighty fortress, the spiral-shaped citadel of Oloc. This citadel was no ordinary fortress. It was a marvel of ancient engineering, built with the help of divine forces. According to legend, the king received assistance from a mystical golden turtle, a divine creature sent by the gods, who provided him with the design and a magical crossbow that would make the citadel impenetrable. This crossbow, known as Ling Quan, was said to have the power to shoot thousands of arrows with a single pull, ensuring the kingdom's safety. With this powerful weapon in hand, the people of Oloc felt secure, knowing that their king had the means to protect them from any threat. The king had one daughter, Princess Chau, who was his pride and joy. Chau was a woman of extraordinary beauty and grace, known throughout the land for her kind heart and gentle spirit. Her beauty was matched by her intelligence, and she was well loved by the people of Oloc. Chapter 2. The Proposal of Marriage. In a neighboring kingdom, across the mountains and rivers, there ruled a king named Chau. He was a cunning and ambitious ruler, constantly seeking to expand his territory. Despite the peaceful relations between the two kingdoms, Chau could not help but covet the prosperous lands of Oloc and its seemingly impregnable citadel. He desired not only the land but also the secret to the invincibility of Oloc. Chau had a son, Prince Trong Thuy, a young man known for his bravery and wit. Recognizing the strategic advantage that a marriage alliance could bring, Chau devised a plan to marry his son to Princess Chau. He sent emissaries to King An Young Vern with gifts and a proposal for the union of their two kingdoms through the marriage of their children. King An Young Vern, desiring peace and hoping to strengthen the bond between the two nations, accepted the proposal. The marriage was arranged, and soon Prince Trong Thuy traveled to Oloc to meet his future bride. When Prince Trong Thuy arrived in Oloc, he was immediately struck by the beauty and grace of Princess Chau. The two met in the gardens of the royal palace, surrounded by the fragrance of blooming flowers and the gentle sound of birds singing. As they walked together, Trong Thuy found himself enchanted by Chau's kindness and intelligence. She, in turn, was drawn to his courage and charm. The wedding was a grand affair, celebrated with great joy and festivity. The people of Oloc welcomed Prince Trong Thuy with open arms, believing that this union would bring lasting peace and prosperity to both kingdoms. Chapter 3. The Deception. Despite his growing love for Chau, Prince Trong Thuy remained loyal to his father and the plan that had brought him to Oloc. King Chau had instructed his son to gain Chau's trust and learn the secret of Oloc's invincibility. Chau, deeply in love with her husband and unaware of his true intentions, trusted him completely. She believed that their marriage was built on mutual love and respect, and she shared with him her deepest thoughts and feelings. One night, as they lay together under the canopy of stars, Trong Thuy gently asked Chau about the secret of the citadel. He spoke of his admiration for the fortress and how he wished to learn more about the marvels of Oloc. Chau, believing that there should be no secrets between them, revealed the truth about the magical crossbow, the Ling Quan, and its divine origins. Trong Thuy listened intently, his heart heavy with the knowledge that he would soon have to betray the woman he loved. That night, while Chau slept, he secretly exchanged the magical crossbow with a replica he had brought with him from his father's kingdom. The next day, he returned to his father, Chau, with the real crossbow, knowing that this act would lead to the downfall of Oloc. Chapter 4. The Invasion. With the magical crossbow in his possession, Chau saw his opportunity to strike. He quickly amassed his forces and launched a surprise attack on Oloc. Confident in the power of the Ling Quan crossbow, King An Young Vern was initially unfazed by the approaching army. He ordered his soldiers to prepare the crossbow, certain that it would repel any invasion. But when the soldiers attempted to use the crossbow, it failed to fire. The arrows did not fly, and the magical power that had protected Oloc for so long was gone. Realizing that something was terribly wrong, King An Young Vern ordered a retreat. But it was too late. The enemy forces breached the walls of Chau and began to overrun the city. Desperate to save his daughter, An Young Vern took Chau and fled the citadel. As they rode through the countryside, the king's heart was heavy with despair. He could not understand how the invincible crossbow had failed, and the weight of the kingdom's downfall pressed upon him. In their flight, they reached the coast, where An Young Vern called upon the golden turtle, the divine creature who had once aided him in building the citadel. The turtle appeared from the depths of the sea and revealed the truth to the king. The crossbow had been stolen, and the betrayal had come from within. Chau, hearing the turtle's words, was stricken with horror. She realized that her husband, whom she had trusted with all her heart, had deceived her and used her love to destroy her father's kingdom. Chapter 5. The Tragic End. Overwhelmed by grief and anger, An Young Vern turned to his daughter. "It is because of you that our kingdom has fallen," he said, his voice filled with sorrow. In that moment, the king saw not only the betrayal of his daughter, but also his own failure to protect his people. Chau fell to her knees, tears streaming down her face. "Father, I have wronged you. I was blind to the truth and allowed my love to cloud my judgment. Please forgive me." But An Young Vern, his heart hardened by the loss of his kingdom, could not forgive. With a heavy hand, he drew his sword and struck down his only daughter. As she lay dying, Chau prayed that her blood would wash away her sins and that her spirit would be forgiven. After taking his daughter's life, An Young Vern, filled with guilt and despair, walked into the sea, following the golden turtle into the depths, never to be seen again. The kingdom of Oloc, once a beacon of strength and prosperity, was left in ruins. Chapter 6. Trong Thuy's Grief. When Trong Thuy returned to Chau and discovered what had happened, he was overcome with grief. He had never intended for things to end this way. Despite his betrayal, his love for Chau had been real, and the knowledge that she had died because of him was more than he could bear. In his sorrow, Trong Thuy wandered the palace, tormented by memories of Chau. He could not escape the guilt that consumed him. Eventually, he came to the well where they had often sat together, speaking of their hopes and dreams. Unable to live with the burden of his actions, Trong Thuy threw himself into the well, ending his life in the same place, where his love for Chau had blossomed. Legend has it that the waters of the well became clear and pure, a reflection of Trong Thuy's deep remorse and undying love for Chau. Some say that the water in the well carries the essence of their love, and that those who drink from it can hear the echoes of Chau's final words, a haunting reminder of love lost and the price of betrayal. Chapter 7. The Legacy of the Legend. The tale of Chau and Trong Thuy has been passed down through generations, becoming one of the most poignant and enduring legends in Vietnamese culture. It is a story that speaks to the complexities of love and loyalty, the consequences of deceit, and the tragic nature of human folly. This is the end of the story. Thanks for your watching and your sincere comments below. I hope to see you in the next story.
Yeah.